All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So, got a mixed bag of stocks here. We're looking at CGC, Finger, Motion. I gotta stop calling that one Finger, HUBC, and then I'm gonna try to throw in DKNG on this one here. All right, so it's really funny because I just made a really like negative and bearish, I don't like to use that term much, but very negative weed stock video. And you know what? I was clearly wrong. We've made a nice little recovery. And the cool thing was it was actually caught literally on it by someone on the Discord group. So on 11.1, Mr. Onion does call it. You can see literally that's the 31st right there. This one was the 11.1 that he called, and then you can see the last couple days that followed, right? So again, I'm not here to be perfect. That's not what I try to pretend to be. And I often say, listen to others as well. You know, get your opinions, and you know, don't rely too heavy on one person. And hey, I do the same thing. I don't rely too heavy on my thoughts either, right? Like I do look for others. And again, educated people sharing thoughts and opinions, and you can actually see it. I even ask, you know, which one caught your eye? I'm not seeing much action, right? Like, again, I am not pretending, right? So beautiful stuff kind of happening here, and we'll see what can keep happening is hopefully what we're looking for, right? Finger Motion is sad. That one looked like it was going to do some big things. It's right back pretty much on the 100 that just saved it, and I don't like how quickly we came back to it, and that's what I'll be talking about there. HUBC is a funny one because if I'm not mistaken, I saw news about some sort of acquisition. I don't know if it's actually already happened or in the process of, but HUBC was pretty much going up because of nothing to do with the company. It was just tied to the war in the Middle East. But now that some real news about the company dropped, I don't know if that's kind of changing some stuff, all right? And then DKNG, if I can get some time to cover this one, I'll try to hurry up a little bit. But, ooh, you gotta look at that one for sure, all right? But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we gonna do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time is super appreciated, all right? So CGC one more time. I just made a video saying how bad all these weed stocks were looking, all right? I am not pretending I did not say that. I am not pretending that I am wrong right now. I for sure thought we were coming down to 41 cents, not heading up to 60. I'm not even remotely pretending I was wrong here, all right? Or remotely pretending I was right, excuse me. The one thing though I always say is when educated people share thoughts and opinions, good things can happen. And I did a quick little search to find it, right? But on the first, there was some discussions on our chart readers Discord that stocks were back in the weed sector. I asked because again, I wasn't seeing anything. I literally just put the video talking about how bad it was, right? And again, watching CGC, putting some comments, and then obviously we're talking about other stuff. And the conversation continued because you can see this was the first, and then day after gets a nice 7%. Day after that gets another 6%. You're talking double-digit gains in a quick 2 days, right? Like that's an amazing thing to do, okay? And really, I think a lot of what has to do, and you've heard me talk about this, right? Weed stocks are just like any other. And man, when the S&P 500 is going to make a really nice recovery like that, when the Dow Jones, the DJ30, when the Dow Jones is going to make a nice recovery like that, you can imagine stocks are maybe not as quite dramatically up, but they're going to come up too. All right, and you know, I think there's a good amount. Now, I did see a couple headlines with Schumer's name here and there. I know I'm still getting comments in my videos about descheduling stuff and dropping from, you know, classification 1 to classification 3. And look, there are so many things that are holding the sector back. Like, I am not here pretending, right? Like, if a couple tax laws were different, game over. If a company can ship between states, game over. And when I say game over, I'm talking about, move this decimal a lot, right? Like there are so many things keeping weed stocks from being as successful and powerful as, liquor, tobacco, whatever, right? I think, as one shackle or two shackles come off, I don't know how quick of a rolling ball down the hill it's going to be. Like, there are a number of handcuffs, all right? But nonetheless, I'm not here pretending I know when that kind of news is going to drop, all right? All I'm really doing is using my moving averages, using my lines and my lower indicators to make some thoughts, right? And what are we looking at now? I mean, again, basically a complete 180 from my last video. We went from under all five to actually technically above 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Now, don't get me wrong. We very much get over these two. I mean, literally on a single day, right? Like, if you're going to get over 2 moving averages on a single day, I'm expecting big things. And I really need this to close around the 66 line, give or take. What's the top of you? No, that's what we're at. Yeah, 66. That's what I'm looking for. I need to believe we've gone away from these two, because if that's the case, we might be flying all the way up to 75. Maybe 71 will be a little bit of a dip, but no, I think if we can move our way up on Monday, by Tuesday or Wednesday, we should be up to 75. All right. What's the weekly looking like? Again, where's that 8 at? 8 moving averages at 75. There are a lot of things pointing to 75 cents right now. Now, obviously, 75 cents is still pretty low, and there are people that want this to go back really, really high, right? End of the day, nothing magical is going to happen until we can get over this 200 moving average. We made a beautiful run to it. It seems like a distant memory from where we're at right now, right? But hey, if we can get to 75, if we can get to the 50 moving average, that'll be an important step to then maybe coming up to 86. I think that's a good line right there. I'm not going to draw it, but I think 86 would be next. Then we would get to the dollar, and hey, by then it would seem like the 200 moving average would come there. But look, sorry, I scrolled the wrong way. I like what I'm seeing though, all right? We at least have a decent 4 out of 5 days in terms of volume. We obviously a nice little uptrend there. You saw the S&P and the Dow Jones. The important thing really is what's going to happen to those, okay? Because just real quickly, we're at this line, and then we're very going to quickly get to this line. If we can get over that line, hey, maybe things will sustain. If we can't get over this line, maybe we come down, and is it going to go back up? Is it going to go like with it? We'll talk about those on a different video, right? But just watch the majors. But at the minimum, CGC did a lot better than I was expecting, and really, there's a lot of things pointing to 75 cents immediately. All right, let me know your thoughts and opinions if you disagree. Let's come into finger motion, man. I talked about the 100 moving average on the last line. On the last video, right? I thought that this line was going to do really, really well, and it did, okay? I actually did not expect it to do as good as it did. I'm very honest again, right? Like, I thought CGC, I very much got the last 2 stocks kind of wrong. I can't pretend that, all right? Finger motion was on the brink of a monster recovery from the 100, right? And again, why did I think the 100 was going to do well? That's actually why it zoomed out. We literally never touched the 100 moving average until here, and to me, this line has super strength, and boom, right? Because look, 50, 50, 50, boom, we get a real nice one on the first one, right? What I don't like is how quickly we're back at the line. Generally speaking, the first time you use it, hopefully it takes you just a little bit longer before you're back to it and need to use it again. This thing was actually about a week, right? Like, that's not great, okay? I want to say that it's still a fresh line and it should hold. My actual concern is we've now slipped negative MACD. We now have a pretty bad RSI, and man, volume has been really bad the last few, even coming on the bounce date, all right? I'm not sure if we came back to this line too quickly. All right. Ideally, hey, this is only the second time. You can see it, right? It like literally loses it, then uses it again. You know, not too sustained, but it does, right? So, you know, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. I think it's a little too 50-50, and truth be told, I think I gotta assume we're not gonna hold it. I think we're actually gonna come down. Dude, where are you? Oops, no, don't click there. I want to know what number that is. Like half of that. Dude, I think we're coming down to 470. I think 470 makes a lot of sense. Where are you? Maybe 480. Maybe 480. Where are you? That's pretty much the 100 itself. I think 480 is where this thing is coming to. I think we really needed to go up a little more before we came back down to give, like I said, the 100 MA was strong, it was fresh, it was never used, does a real good job to bounce. It's like, look, I like football, right? If your defense does really well, and then all of a sudden your offense sucks and your defense is right back out on the field, dude, it's probably tired, a little gassed, and it's going to get scored on, right? Like, I think we're going to slip below the line. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. Hopefully that 480 that I mentioned kind of holds it, and then we can get quickly back over it. But as confident as I was right here, I'm a little less confident. A lot of it is because of how quickly we're back to it. I don't think I need to look at the weekly because, like I said, this is all, oh, damn, I'm glad I did. This is a scary weekly. This actually is saying 445 is more than likely, because it looks like we've now lost the 8. We're on the border of losing the 20. I mean, we either come back to $6 on Friday, or we yeah, 480 seems a lot more likely now that I'm looking at the weekly. That's not a good MACD. MACD was very, very much green line over red line, green line over red line. Looks like we've lost that. Looks like the RSI is now slipping. Looks like dude, this is a scary weekly. Again, I don't think we'll go below 345. Like, it should be very hard to lose these two lines, and it might actually be really hard to lose this line at 445. That said, I think we're coming back to 445 based on the daily and the weekly. Look, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Let me know if you disagree, but I think there's more to be worried about than excited right here on finger motion, right? HUBC, where's HUBC at? Man, this thing was just crushing it. It was just living over the 8 like a champ. All of a sudden, we've lost both lines on a single day and pretty much confirmed. We're now at the 100 moving average, more than likely going to lose that, maybe come down to 41 cents. Because look, that's not a good MACD. That's not a good RSI. Volume has been pretty bad for a while. All right. It's crazy because, like I started this video with, I feel like HUBC was more of this like war in the Middle East play than it was about what we all thought about the company. All right. The company then makes news that they're trying to like better themselves and do something with an acquisition. Let me know if I'm wrong right there, but I'm like 90%. That's the headline I saw. It seems like, for whatever reason, and look, I'm not here to defend the news. I'm not here to say what's right and wrong. All I'm here is to look at the reactions and assume what's going to follow, right? The market did not like the HUBC news. It didn't. It was so bad it loses 2 moving averages on a single day, and like I said, pretty much confirms with almost a 10% loss the day after, right? It went from this connection to the war, and hey, maybe the war is never going to end, and maybe there's going to be funding, and maybe for whatever reason this one gets some funding. Like, those were kind of the thoughts in my head as I was writing this thing up, right? It became very easy to hit eject, especially how quickly it lost the 8 and worked its way down, right? Like, it's sad. I was hoping for more good things here. I can't pretend I wasn't. I was, starting to get the like red, green dreams, right? Like, I can't pretend it myself. But yeah, it became game over pretty quickly. And unfortunately, the reason it became game over, and again, just my opinion, this thing went from a maybe war connection to a oh man, let's see what this company's actually doing. And oh man, it looks like the market didn't like it. And oh man, losing moving averages, losing the MACD momentum, losing the RSI momentum. And then, yeah, volume just never picked up, right? So HUBC, I've kind of looked away. If we can get back over 65 cents, 66 cents, I will very much reconsider an entry. But like I said, it kind of seems like we're going to go to 41. And if we lose 40 cents, it could be a very, very fast drop to 36, if not 30. And again, every 4 cents is 10%, right? So those are big numbers to go down, right? HUBC, not looking good right now. DKNG. All right, DraftKings. I like calling it Donkey Kong. This is a monstrous chart right now. All right, I know it already went up 16%. I know that it was only 6, but dude, this thing is just getting ready to go. All right, I'm gonna draw some lines because obviously I haven't covered this on a video in a while, but oh man, there's so much to like. First and foremost, this thing just dropped earnings. I'll be honest with you, I did not look at the earnings. I don't really care about the earnings. All I care about is the market reaction, all right? And yeah, I see it going down a little bit post-market. That's insignificantly nothing. What I really believe, and I'll talk about it shortly, I think we're coming to high 40s, if not even the 50s, all right? That's actually what I'm expecting on DKNG, all right? First and foremost, what do I like? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are over all 5 moving averages and we are ready to fly, all right? What I also see is this downtrend, and I'm going to delete it because whatever, right? But there was a pretty good downtrend right there that just broke and we flew, right? I love it. MACD is now positive. RSI wasn't that long ago. It was at 88, 89, 87 in back-to-back days. You know what I mean? Like, this thing gets really high RSIs and lives up there, right? I love it. What I also like, let's make some lines. Let me zoom out. Let's look at this thing. I'm going to do it from back here. So there's something going on right there. That's pretty much what we just smashed. There's something going on right there. I think that's our next target. There's something going on there. There we go. I think these are the next lines up, all right? We have smashed that 31 something. We're obviously at that 33. 40 looks like it's next. All right, let's come into the weekly. Let's see if it's a little easier to see and kind of set on the weekly. Yeah, I like this a lot. What's that line? Oh, I think that's the better line, actually. I'm going to take that to there, because that's pretty much the bottom of that, both of those, top of that. 41 is a good line. Oh, I think that's a great line. Look at that one right there. I don't know if I need this line. I'm going to go ahead and delete that line. There we go. I think that's a good set of lines right there, especially on the weekly. Look what else I like. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are over all 5 moving averages on the weekly and on the daily. That to me screams a lot of power. Now look, this is a single candle. Sorry to point at the W. It's a single candle that broke 3 moving averages. I need monster confirmation, and honestly, I'm pretty much expecting this to come to around 37 by Friday. Maybe right there. Maybe it'll be a little closer to 35, 35.70, 36 we can call it. I'm expecting a 10% on by Friday, and that's going to confirm this. But the 200 moving average just formed. We actually were over that 100 for a good while, and I mean, yeah, just so much to like in terms of the moving averages, so much to like in terms of the lower indicators. I mean, just zooming out, this was a big volume day. This was one of the top, arguably 10 days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Arguably one of the top 10 days of this stock's entire trading, right? I mean, today was a big day. One of the big headlines that I saw was they liked the growth strategy. One thing I like about that headline, look, the stock market's all about the future, right? It's what do we think that you're going to do tomorrow, right? Like, if you did well today, that's already old news, baby. Like, I'm already looking forward. And if they believe going forward, you're going to do well. That's going to do some amazing things for your stock price today. And yeah, people believe in the growth story. Man, I am seeing green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, red. Like there's a lot of really fast pace up and down in these next three channels. Like it might be a quick ride to the 50s, especially if this 41 can break. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of think it will. Maybe I'm a little too ambitious. Maybe I'm a little too optimistic, but yeah, even, I mean, like I said, let's see what it does. I like that it's coming off good earnings that the market seems to be liking. So let me know your thoughts and opinions as always. Otherwise, you know it. Thank you. Thank you.